it was a child soldier. So I heard that the main character is called Agu, so I decided to work very hard to get a role Agu.
How much, when you meet him, when he walks in the door, you must have been really captivated. How much time did you spend with him before you knew he was the right actor?
So Abraham was part of a group of about 30 kids that had been whittled down from hundreds more that we sort of did a theater workshop with for a couple weeks. The original goal was to do it for several months, and it just didn't happen. And we only really had a couple weeks to not only help them learn sort of rudimentary skills about acting, but also to sort of gauge whether they're right for whatever roles we had. We had a lot of kid roles actually to fill. And Abraham, you know, from the very beginning, I was kind of watching him, and I thought he was interesting, but he was very much like the, I don't want to say babysitter, but he was like taking care of a lot of the other kids, you know, and like explaining to them what I was explaining to them, and kind of being too responsible. And I wanted to free him of that and just kind of see what he was like on his own. So I asked Zoe, our theater acting coach for the kids, and Harrison to sort of separate him when I got there the next time, just to see if I can just let him be without that responsibility and sort of, and to play and be mischievous as Agu is in the beginning of the story. I already knew there was a sort of depth to him that he could play the other parts of the story. But I want to see, because there's a lot of variations the character goes through, and to see what he can do beyond that.
When you find out that you're going to get this part, that you're going to be in this movie, what were the things that you were most excited about and the things that you were most worried about?
I was not worried about anything. I was, yeah, I was happy. What I was thinking is that I'll be going on set to shoot a movie.
And was there a scene that you enjoyed the most, and a scene that maybe was the hardest for you to do?
Well, I have two hardest scenes, but mostly I see only one. One is that when I was running inside the jungle, walking alone, wearing slippers with a shawl down, and I was like afraid to see an animal in the bush. And one of the scenes is when Striker is dying and I have to carry him at my back, and he's very heavy, heavier than me, and I'm carrying him on my back.
That wasn't acting when he was.
Right, actually carrying Striker on his back.
That was method.
But you have shot documentaries, and I'm wondering that background in terms of not only this movie, but working with young actors. Does that background give you some tools to help shoot and to shoot efficiently that were really critical in making this movie?
Definitely, I think working on documentaries helped in terms of covering a scene, because especially if you're doing like single camera documentary operating, you know, you kind of have to know all the different angles you need to cover before, you know, that's it, you're going to move on, and you give an editor enough to work with to make a scene. And a lot of times we would run scenes in this film, you know, with predominantly non-acting core acting group for the cast. And so the longer we can run a scene and sort of like lull everyone or hypnotize everyone into the reality of what we were shooting, the better for me in terms of covering it. And I would just run around with the ACs and the sound guy following me, you know, replacing the cards on the camera, because we were shooting Alexa, not film. And you know, I would kind of have to like edit in my head as I was watching how it unfolded and cover it that way. So definitely that helped there.
And how did Idris work in that role? Because Idris is playing a character, the commandant, who is very much the leader of the children. Does that help in the actual day of the filming, that he is kind of the leader of these young actors who are non-professionals? In other words, does the character help the kind of marshal that he's doing on set?
I mean, like keeping people in line?
Yeah, exactly. Or does he kind of step out of character? And
you know, there's a few times where he told everyone to be quiet. You know, when they you know, we're asking for quiet on set, and you know, all of our battalions started sort of mouthing off. He could definitely, he had a commanding presence, but he didn't really have to use it that much, because you know, the real leaders know these kind of things. They don't have to raise their voice. It's their subordinates to do it for them. So we had, I don't know if anyone noticed the naked man. It's okay if you didn't. Some people don't see him. It's like the Easter egg. That guy named Anointed, you know, was like his chief security officer. He really took that job seriously, and like would clear the way whenever. You know, there was one time Idris was just going to go to the bathroom. Anointed was clearing the way for him to go to the bathroom. He was like, and it was going to follow him. You know, and it's just like, no, you can hold back. I'm just going to live. So.